Hey guys, it's Jake from Metal Wani here, and I am here with Danny from Nuclear Assault. Danny, how you going, man?
All right, man. How you guys doing down there?
It's hot, man. It's very hot. It's been about 40 degrees for the last 3 or 4 days in a row. So yeah, it's a struggle.
Yeah, that's a certain irony because you use the Fahrenheit scale, and it's been 40 degrees here, but not going to feel like 40 down there.
Yeah.
For us, that's just a few degrees over freezing, and that's actually pretty warm for us just in New York in January. This is like almost a heat wave for us too.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit different, but look, man, we'll just get straight into it. You guys Nuclear Assault's actually coming out here for your first tour, and ironically, it's going to be your last tour of Australia. So, what's kept the band from heading all the way down here until now?
Oh, it's just general logistics, and it's difficult because, unfortunately, because it's so far, the flights are a lot. So you got to find somebody who's going to be into bringing you down and stuff, and cover the flights, and you can only cut the bucks too. But also just knowing the right people. And I guess back in the day, we never got it together because we did go to Japan a few times, but never made it down there. So I apologize, and I know that the first tour is going to be the last one, but we'll make it up to you, and that's where I have to go.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, it is good that you guys are finally making it down here because it has been such a long career up to this point that you guys have had. But is there anything that you want to do when you get a chance while you're down here, or what are your thoughts for how the shows are going to go with this tour?
Well, I mean, Nuclear Assault shows are pretty... let's just say there's nothing extremely complicated about it. We just roll up on stage wearing the same shit we were wearing all day, and there's not going to be a big fancy light show or anything like that. We just kind of put our heads down and thrash and do what we do best, and I'm just psyched that we can finally do it down there. And yeah, there's not a lot of rocket science to what we do, man. It's a very organic thing. It's get on stage and do what we do.
Yeah. So is there anything that you want to do if you get some downtime here? You know, like I guess take photos in front of some landmarks or hold the koalas, those sorts of things?
Oh, well, I've been down there a few times with Bring the Truth. So I've been down to Australia 3 times myself. So I've gone to the petting zoos and stuff like that. And but we might go back to Phillip Islands, me and the wife. So see some penguins. Besides that, you know, just more the kind of stuff that you guys would do, you know, just having barbecues, having a few beers with your friends, mates, just doing shit like that, if I can say that word.
Yeah, cool. Your last EP, Pounder, it was sort of an all-killer, no-filler affair, and it came out about 1.5 years ago now. Is there any sort of new music on the horizon for Nuclear Assault?
Unfortunately, no. I think Pounder's going to end up being the last thing we're doing because we're pretty much going to be done soon. We just want to, we can cross Australia off the old bucket list now, but yeah, anything else that Nuclear Assault's going to be doing is just going to be a few shows here and there if we haven't played that area because we're trying to wind it down and call it the final assault, so
yep.
We can't keep going back to the same places, but yeah, new music unfortunately is not on the horizon. But when we get down there, we will play the stuff that everybody should know and love. So hopefully everybody will enjoy that.
Yeah, and look, that was actually one thing that I was going to touch on next. So you guys formed in 1985, and you've been around for over 30 years now, and you are touring on your Final Assault World Tour. I guess you've sort of carved your own niche in the thrash metal history when you look back at bands, or the journey that the band has taken, and like yourself with your time in Anthrax. What's the most important lesson that you've learnt during that period?
The most important lesson, I would hate to be cynical, but just watch out for sleazebags in the industry that are going to pretend they're your friends and rip you off. so I don't want that to sound negative, but that was the most important lesson.
Well, I mean, that's a very valid point, and there are a lot of people out there who have bands' best interests in mind, but as you said, there are some out there that are quite, I guess, easy to take advantage of bands, especially some of the newer or upcoming ones that might not know any better. So I guess that is a pretty good lesson to have learnt over that period of time.
Yeah, I mean, there are other less malicious sounding lessons, like don't stay up till 4 a.m. if you got to go on stage the next day at 8 o'clock. You find out some of those the hard way. But, yeah, just shit like that.
Yeah. So I'm going to touch on something a little bit different now. And lately there have been a lot of classic thrash albums that have been re-recorded or have had interest from their bands to go and re-record them. And I know you said that the Nuclear Assault isn't going to be doing any new music, but similar to how Exodus have done Bonded by Blood and Megadeth have also, I guess, expressed an interest in re-recording Killing Is My Business. Is there any Nuclear Assault album that you wish to re-record in the future?
Nah, because I think that they stand, when they were recorded, they captured a certain magic. And, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't agree with that whole concept. I mean, they were done at a certain time, and just trying to recreate that later, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, game over. I think the guitar sounds a little bit clean, but I'd rather say just remix it and fucking insert a distortion pedal on the guitar track. But, nah, conceptually, I would say no. Leave those things be. They made statements when they came out, and it just wouldn't be the same. These dudes doing that 30 years later. I don't know. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a very valid point, and as I said, the only reason I sort of floated it is because there has been this interest lately from a couple of the bigger thrash metal bands to look at re-recording, and I guess it's sort of an interesting point. And as you touched on, there is a sort of magic and I guess essence that's captured when those albums are written. And if you guys don't want to try and recapture that magic where other bands are sort of possibly looking to try and do that, then yeah, I mean, that's entirely up to you.
Right.
So the last Nuclear Assault gig in Europe was at Eindhoven Metal Meeting in 2015, and I guess I feel that Europe has always stayed true to thrash metal roots compared to the United States, and your fan base in particular in Europe is now stronger than ever before. Was it difficult to say goodbye to the European fans that night?
Yeah, definitely. That was a bit kind of, you get a teeny bit of a lump in your throat, and I said something between songs and gave everybody a very heartfelt thank you, and we appreciate that you guys have made us feel welcome all this time and all that, and, sure, it was a bittersweet moment, but, we can't keep doing it forever. We don't want to be just, flogging a dead horse thing either.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually caught you guys at Brutal Assault that year, and there was the crowd there was phenomenal, so I can only picture what it was like to stand in front of them and I guess say farewell to that crowd.
Yeah, Brutal Assault's a great festival. I remember that. That was a lot of fun. Hanging out with the Mayhem dudes and the slogging out dressing rooms and shit. But yeah, it is a real intense feeling when you're standing up there making music and all these people are slipping out to it. It's palpable energy in the air, and it's great. And sure, I will miss doing that in Europe, but I always find a way to play Europe with some other bands, so I always can get back there. I mean, that's just over the pond for us.
Yeah. So Nuclear Assault spent decades touring around the world, and obviously playing in and around the different states that the music industry has been through. I guess lately there's been a culture of VIP packages and all these other sorts of add-ons for tickets and shows and that have sort of been sprouting up, which seems to be the only way for fans to meet the bands that they admire. Some of these come at really inflated price. I know down here they're normally about $60, $80 or even $100 over the top of a normal ticket. But Nuclear Assault have always been one of those acts who are always open to their fans. So what's your take on the whole VIP package idea?
I understand that that's something that the promoter is doing to generate some income so he can cover flights and all that stuff. So although I don't see it as necessary because I don't really hide backstage, especially when we're going as far as we're going to be going to hang out with you guys. And I like to mill around anyway and go by the merch stands. And, you know, I don't care if I got to take a bunch of pictures and sign autographs. I'm not one of those people who's like, leave me alone. And so, you know, let's just say that I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but I understand why it's being done. And I can't really bitch about that.
So I guess you could say to your Australian fans to keep an eye out for you around the merch desk or checking out the support bands because you're going to be out and about before you jump up on stage.
Yeah, I will be, in fact. You know, especially if there's some good pool tables, who the hell knows?
Yeah, cool. All right, so I got one more for you, and it's sort of, I think you've already sort of touched on it a fair bit through the other questions that we've gone through, but lately we've sort of seen a trend with classic heavy metal and hard rock bands that reunite for a tour after initially insisting that they will never do so. And as you've touched on, you've sort of said that Nuclear Assault's trying to wind down. What's the important reason behind the decision to reform? Is it purely for the love of fans or is it the money game? And I know that hasn't happened yet, but is that something that Nuclear Assault might look at in the future, or are you guys, you're definitely winding it all down and hoping to wrap it up in the near future?
Well, I mean, I think one reason we started doing stuff again is I'd be out on the road with all these other bands, like Legal Truth or whoever, and I would be just talking to people, and they go, "Yeah, we're going to do this, this all again, man. I missed that. I'm 21. I would have loved to have seen that shit, blah, blah, blah." And, you know, I'm not going to lie. When you stop doing stuff for a while, you do get better guarantees. And, sure, that helps pay the rent. You know, there's nothing wrong with making a few bucks as long as you're not throwing out to do it. If you're not changing anything they're doing, then, sure, somebody wants to give you, you know, a nice chunk of cash to go do a festival. That, you're like, okay, cool, now we can pay the rent for 2 months. But mostly, though, yeah, it's just, I could see it pretty much winding down now unless something crazy and exotic showed up with some interesting guarantee a couple of years down the road. But that would be very selective, and we have to be selective anyway because our frontman, John, is actually a high school teacher. So 10 months out of the year, he can barely get away. One thing if we want to go to Chicago for the weekend, but for instance, we're doing Australia because she's on, well, it's our winter, a winter break from school, and we scheduled a tour around that.
Yeah.
So pretty much going to be hardly anything else, unless, like, I'm not going to say, you know, never say never, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I guess you've sort of touched on there, that's sort of the unspoken about side of a touring artist's life is that 95 to 98% of them all have normal day jobs, and booking shows and all of that is just sort of stuff that pops up around the time that they have available. So yeah, it's definitely good that you've taken a never say never approach, but yeah, it's always good to shine light on those sorts of things.
Yeah, well, if we were Metallica and we sold millions of records, then we'd have a more flexible schedule, but we're not, so we don't.
Fair enough. Danny, look, that's all I had time for you today, but is there anything you want to let the Australian fans know before you guys head down for these shows?
Yeah, I would like to say that, for one thing, I would like to apologize that it's taken us this long, and the irony of the first tour down there being the last one. But I just also would express my appreciation to everybody who's been so patient waiting. and we will not let you down. You will say, fuck, that was worth the wait. So I'll see you guys next month.
Awesome. Danny, thanks so much for your time today, and we'll look forward to seeing you next month.
All right, dude. So I'll see you down there in a month or so.
No worries. See ya.